Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
Hi, guys. Amazing Race, Australia.
Best day of the week. Best day of the week.
It's a full day since we're covering 3 episodes, a full week of Amazing Race Australia. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. We've got a Patreon if you want to check that out. And we appreciate you hanging out with us. James, how's it going?
You know, it's great. It's been a week and a lot to process with the Stowaway twist. And it's different. I'll say that much.
It is different. And let's just dive right into it, guys, because the top of episode 7, we're given a twist. All of the teams are like coming out together. So we're sort of caught up. And Bo introduces us to a Stowaway team, MJ and Chelsea. And I don't know if anyone's watching Bachelor right now, but there was an MJ and a Chelsea. And I was like a little like, wait, what?
Are we watching the right show?
Yeah, I was like, did they just jump over to another show? Different ladies, but MJ and Chelsea, they are footy mates. They are professional football player friends, and they're going to join us. And so let's have some feelings, because there are some mixed feelings out there.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. I mean, I said it when we recapped the episode where Dwez and Catherine came back. Like, I think I'm all for a team who's already raced coming back, but I feel like there has to be some sort of like extra edge to make you have to like earn your place back in the race. And I think with the Stowaway twist, it kind of defeats the purpose of what the Amazing Race is all about. And the best way to describe it is I was interacting on the Amazing Race Australia's Instagram and I vocalized my opinion and someone put it beautifully for me. It's if you were to run a marathon and someone came in for the last mile, that's exactly how it feels. And it's like, what's the purpose? What's the point of all these teams' hard work up till this leg of the race and have someone just kind of casually stroll in? It just, it rubs me the wrong way. I feel like if they were to come into the race, maybe it needs a little bit of fine tuning, although I don't think I'll ever be on board for the Stowaway twist. It just, if they were coming into the race, like when Bo even said like, oh, all the teams will get a 5-minute advantage over the Stowaway team, I kind of laughed. Like I was like, that's a joke. 5 minutes is really not that big of a deal. By the time they rip open their clue and get in their taxis to leave the airport, like it's going to be an even playing field. So I just feel like if they were coming into the race, Bo should have said they have to get like first place. I mean, this would have been redundant since they did. But if they were like, you have to get first place on this leg, if not, you will get a penalty and you'll have to sit at the pit stop and wait for the other team to check in before you can check in. Because then there's that slim possibility they could get eliminated.
Okay. So the way that you would be on board is if it was much, much harder.
There's got to be something at stake with the Stowaway team. It's too easy. And it's not fair to the eliminated teams. Like, thinking of Jobel, who's a super fan of the race, just like myself, to be eliminated the leg prior. And then like, imagine being at Sequester and then hearing through other teams who are eliminated that there were Stowaway teams added to the race when they could have, like, it could have been a non-elimination for Jobel and Ronnie to go one extra leg forward in the race. So it's just, it's a little off-putting.
I completely disagree. I think that reality competition shows are never fair. Whenever you say, this isn't fair, I go, we're not watching fair. This is not real life. This is a group of people called producers who like to do twists and turns and mess with you. And as a viewer, I get real excited about it. You throw a new team in, you throw a new challenge in, you throw me over here or over that. I get into it. So Stowaways, yeah, if I were in the race, I'd be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Right.
But honestly, as racers, you got to beat everyone. Doesn't matter when they showed up. You just got to win. You got to get as high up on the leg as you possibly can.
It's true.
You got a new team.
I see that point. And then it just, to me, it's just like, it defeats the purpose of a starting line. Why is there a starting line if Stowaway teams are going to get added throughout the race? And then in addition to that, it's like, I was texting with the Amazing Race 32 group chat and I was like, guys, this twist is insane. And we were kind of all in agreement. If this happened on our season, it definitely would have thrown us a curveball. None of us would have liked it. I think all of us would have spoken up about it to the point where like we would have become the Stowaway 7. We would have called ourselves the Scorned 7.
Oh,
we would have all gained up on the Stowaway team.
Right. Well, like, I can see that. I can see you guys doing that. And I can see a lot of teams, saying they're new. Also bringing it back to Bachelor. That's exactly what happened. They threw in a couple new girls here and there. And the OG girls were like, no, I don't think so. And they were like all against the new girls. I think that's probably human nature that you're like, no, you just came in. I can't handle it. You might U-turn them later. Something like that. But controversial. Here we are.
Well, the only thing I do want to reiterate, I mean, no disrespect to the Stowaway teams. I think they're great. And I do think that they bring a lot of value to the entertainment of the show. It's a weird twist. Like I'll do First Class Pass, Salvage, and Sabotage any day, but you're pushing it with the Stowaway twist.
We hear you. And, but since we do have the Stowaways, MJ and Chelsea seem like lovely ladies. They are football players. They are active, they're fit, and they seem fairly positive, obviously very competitive. So since we have them, here we are. Let's enjoy them a little bit.
Let's do it.
They get their honestly, when they said 5-minute head start, I was like, oh, okay, James will appreciate that. And you're like, no, I need more than 5 minutes. Thank you very much. I was like, at least they're going to start last. But did you notice here, the Gold Coast girls would be coming off of their First Class Pass day off, but because we're just running ahead of this 5-minute, Stowaway team, they didn't have to pick a number. They just got to join with everybody.
That's true.
Run out. Thought that was interesting.
That's a very good observation. I don't think I put those two things together when I was watching.
I think if anything, Australia is showing me that they are consistently random. Nothing seems like we're always going to be at this level of
it's like, let's throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. If it doesn't, we'll learn from our mistakes, but whatever. We're in a pandemic. Let's just have fun with it.
That's what they said. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Crocodilus Park and we're going to relocate saltwater crocodiles. This is just the beginning of me being triggered over a couple of these episodes where I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is what we're doing? Humans are doing this? A little of it was scary. So these crocodiles are taped up, but they're having to learn, hand on the head, flip their legs, lift them like this. If they shake, go down. Like you're learning how not to be attacked by a crocodile. The Kimberly cousins, they're starting us out in the lead here on this leg. The Sikhs are right behind them, coming in second. And unfortunately, we see Safa and Jess getting lost right here in the beginning.
And especially like when it's the start of a leg and you get lost, it just throws your brain into this like place you shouldn't be. And you start to stress and you start to work yourself up. And it's just a rough way to start a leg.
Absolutely. Then Jess is scared of crocodiles. This seems like a legitimate thing that she does not like. So when she gets there and realizes she has to touch a crocodile, she's uncomfortable. She's like, through the whole thing, really struggling. And honestly, I was holding my breath through most of this.
Yeah.
Watching all of this. How comfortable are you with salties?
I don't think I would have been comfortable with it just because the idea of crocs and alligators, like that stuff just like really kind of makes me uncomfortable. But I do think because Will and I are over 6 foot, like I think it would be easier to control because those gators, I'm curious to know how big they were. Yeah. But maybe we would feel like a little bit more like in control of it because of our stature, if you will. So I don't think I would have enjoyed doing it. It would have been one of those things where you like shut up, put up, and just do it to get it over with.
Yeah, you kind of have to. It was really interesting that they said your crocodile will be proportionate to your weight. So like you and Will are slim. Like you probably would have had a tiny one. And poor Jess and Safa have like quite the crocodile to carry.
And that's like, I mean, that's really interesting. The proportionate to the weight, like how did they do that? So like down to the T, like how do you know if they really did that?
It was interesting. Little tidbit there. Okay, we're going to head to a detour. We're going to treat it or eat it. We have a first aid sort of setup with a dummy, or we're going to cook and eat laksa, which is a important dish to this area. Which one are you going to do?
You know, I think that we would have done the laksa.
Oh, really?
I just think that's what we would go to, because that's kind of why we chose that detour in Manaus. We went to the cooking for the tribe, and being there, like there's the demonstration, or you can see like what's going on around you. So it kind of like, if you're observant to that stuff, then you can get in and out of there no problem. However, it would have perturbed me because I do think the judge was way too hard and way too particular about it, because not everyone is going to know how to make this laksa perfectly, but if they're following the instructions and still using the ingredients, like I think it shouldn't have been so critiqued.
Right. Well, you often do say, like, if one is judged and then one is just like, you got to go through these tasks, it's sometimes easier to just not be judged. So that's what made me think I might lean towards the first aid one, just because I don't know how to cook, first off.
Yeah, I think that after doing it, you'd be like, oh shoot, like I wish I did the other detour.
Right. But we should point out that our Kimberly cousins, this is their area and they're familiar with laksa, and Dwes is excited. He likes to cook and he wants to make this. And so he and the Sikhs, the cousins and the Sikhs are maintaining their lead here. They get in first and second, and it takes them just 2 attempts to make the dish, and they are in and out of there. The Gold Coast girls are the only ones that struggle. The chef owner lady legitimately went,
and
their dish.
Really silly cackle, like when she told them no, and like was like she's enjoying it. She's enjoying saying no.
Yeah, she's like, I am really good at making this, and this is horrible. No. Yeah, she was definitely enjoying it. But those poor girls, it took them 8 tries. They definitely, hit a wall there, felt defeated. Not sure how they were getting through it, kind of moments. But we don't really see any struggles over at the Treat It, the first aid.
It was fairly straightforward, which is good, because then you're kind of in and out.
Yeah, it took most people just 1 or 2 attempts. And it does actually give Sepha and Jess a chance. They pass the dancers at this point. So the dancers are out last. And they also get a little bit turned around. It appears like they lose some time driving at this point. Our little dancers. Now we are heading to one of the most terrifying roadblocks. Well, I say that, but I'm going to say it again in the next episode. But this roadblock was, it was a doozy.
It was a bit much for me. Like, it definitely made my palms sweaty, and I was questioning, like, what am I doing? Like, if that was me, like, panic mode.
Right? They have to swim out to a platform, grab a knife, swim back, and now we have to throw that knife and hit it into, like a wall,
looked like what, styrofoam almost. Like, it looked so like easy. Once it hit it, it was like it pierced pretty easily.
But they tell you, like, this is crocodile water. Now, I don't think it couldn't have been super infested crocodile water, or else, I mean, the production company is liable here. Like, there has to be some sort of protection.
Yes. And it's like putting yourself in that headspace of like, okay, like, yes, this is a television show. Yes, you have like a safety and security team with you at all times.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, they're not going to let stuff happen to you like that. Obviously, because it's an animal, it could be unpredictable. So there are slim, rare chances that maybe there's an encounter of some kind. But yeah, it would be getting it out of your head about it.
Yeah, this was so triggering for me, you guys. I grew up in Florida. I swam in lakes with alligators, and it was so terrifying as a kid. You'd look like you want to see those two eyes like pop out of the water. Like that's how you know where they are. And I would just be like in lakes, just like doing this the whole time as a like very scared child. And this just brought all of those horrible memories back to me. And it seemed like most people were going through that as well, because they're just like, don't splash, swim, quiet, be quiet, like so nervously swimming to this platform. Dwez is out there first, and I absolutely just loved him. He was just powering through, doing his best. Really started to struggle when he had to throw that knife, though. That was the downside. And then poor Jess picks this. She's the one that has to do this. Watching her swim out, I was feeling it. I was feeling it right there with her.
Yeah, I think especially if it's a fear of yours and you already did something with a crocodile earlier on in the leg. So you think that your coast is clear. Like, I'm done. I did it. I conquered my fear. And then to now know going into the roadblock, not only do you have to face your fear again, but it's on a completely different emotional level. You are actually getting into the water, knowing that there's crocodiles that inhabit this environment. So what do you do? Like, what the heck do? You automatically go into panic mode, and it's really hard to get yourself out of that. But like, mad props to Jess. Like, she got in there, she swam to the platform, and it wasn't necessarily the fear itself that was what prevented her from getting out there. It was just her getting up onto that platform was what she really struggled with the most, besides throwing the knife.
I mean, we're already feeling for her as she's swimming out there. She finally gets to the platform, and she can't lift her body up. She cannot propel her body up over the platform. We're watching her struggle, and my heart is just like bursting for her more than ever. And just lucky for her, we've got two teams coming up behind her. We got the Gold Coast girls, and we got Sky Blue. She's the one doing this for her team. And I think we've learned that Sky Blue is a helper.
She is a helper.
So even though I don't remember which Gold Coast girl it was. Ashley. It was Ashley. She's coming and going. She's up there grabbing that knife and out of there. And Sky Blue's like, don't worry about it, Jess. I'll get this for you. And I mean, I know we have mixed feelings about helping, but at this point, please help Jess.
Totally. Like, Will and I put ourselves in that position. And like, here's the deal: like, camaraderie comes with competition, especially because it's a shared experience. And like, if we had been racing and like we got close with Jess, I mean, we already love Jess just from watching her in those episodes we've watched so far. Like, you can't help but not want to help her. I mean, especially when you're sitting on the couch, your human side comes out and you're like, I want to help her.
Yes.
But you got to see both sides of that. Like, here you have Sky Blue, who is more than willing to help. And then I know Ash got a lot of criticism by viewers, like, oh, you didn't help Jess. Like, you just did your own thing. But putting yourself in Ash's shoes, like, she had a really hard time at the detour. Like, the Laxa Queen was not They lost a lot of time, that you're so fixated on just maintaining your lead that you kind of tune out what's around you. And like, you can't fault for Ash not helping. But I just think it's interesting that you saw both sides of the competition play out on that platform. Teams who are so fixated on the competition that nothing else around you matters. And then one person who's willing to just say, I'm going to help you.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize people were hating on Ashley. No, of course. Jump up there, do your tasks. We should be like, oh, wow, Sky Blue helped Jess, not expecting everyone to help.
I only saw it because of Ash's Insta story. She posted something that was like, along the lines of, like, it wasn't like she was not trying to go out of her way to help Jess, but that's just not something that she was gonna do in that moment. But she posted a clip from the first episode when they were doing the prawns, and Sepha gave information to the Super Seats about how to whatever with the prawns. And Jess goes, why are you helping them? Like, why are you giving them information? So it just, that's the race. That's the nature of the race. You pick your battles and you choose when you want to help.
Right. Absolutely. Well, the dancers finally get there. They were a little lost, but they arrive last to this. And Jordan swims out there, swims back, knifes the thing real quick in one try, and then off they go. Like, whoa, hello, showed up in and out. It takes Sky Blue 78 attempts to get
Mm.
the knife in the wall. She leaves, leaving Jess behind. And of course, you know, my heart is sinking even more for Jess here. But it's not too bad. She's not too far behind because she gets it on her 81st attempt. And did you notice this judge guy? Like, he was so excited every time they hit it. But when Jess hit it on his 81st, on her 81st,
He was invested
yes!
in her
He
journey.
runs up there. He's like, wait, I'm going to double check. He runs up there and he's like, it's good. And he's so excited for her. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, sir. I loved it. He was adorable. Okay, the next part we're headed to is a raceway, and we're going to drift in some race cars while not spilling a fishbowl of water. That's pretty hilarious.
It's goofy. I loved it.
Yeah, very silly, very fun. The Sikhs and the cousins are still up at the top here. The Sikhs actually pass the cousins right here, like entering the raceway, so they get in the cars first. But it takes both of them 2 attempts, so they're still sort of neck and neck. But this is the first time that the Sikhs took the lead. We get a great Delore edit here where he just can't manage this bowl of water.
Oh, Lord. Delore.
The editors just have too much fun with it. Yeah, and I enjoy it.
He's giving them that content. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to complain about it, if you're going to whine about it, if you're not going to be able to, like, suck it up and do it, like, those moments are going to get shown. And I just, you know, again, power to Holly. Like, Holly's carrying that team. And mad props to Holly.
Yeah, no, I love it. When you're like, I'm going to be amazing at this. Meanwhile, splash, splash, splash. And then all the other teams are just like, not losing a drop of water. Thank you. Thank you for that edit. That's great. We get down to our last teams here at this raceway. Some of them are having to go for a second or third time. But our siblings and our couple, Holly and Delore, they do end up getting it. So it leaves us to the dancers, and Safa and Jess are our last 2 who have to do another lap to see if one of them can get it and head to the pit stop. And it is the dancers who end up getting it. And Safa and Jess at this point know that they're the last team. And I have to say, their attitude standing there and watching the dancers, you know, get that okay, you're approved, you get to go, and they just smiled through it, had to go on another lap, give it a try.
They honestly are a fantastic team,
right?
I think Jess and Safa, I feel like they had a lot more life in them, and I think this is another reason why I don't like the Stowaway twist, because a new team came in. Obviously, this leg wasn't a non-elimination, where it very easily could, if you're not gonna mess up how many teams are in the race and this and that, like, this very well could have been a non-elim. And then a team like Jess and Safa, who I think brings so much value to the show. I think they are great sound bites, great entertainment. They're loving the race. They're so positive with everything that they're doing. They're so relatable when it comes to a lot of these tasks. And I think that's why I'm upset with the Stowaway twist. I feel like we're robbed of a team like Jess and Safa, who we've gotten to know from the very first episode. We're emotionally invested in their journey. And then because a new team came in, there's no chance for a non-elimination to save them. So that's why it's upsetting, because we already grew to love Jess and Safa.
Oh my God, we did. Like, they're television gold. Their commentary, they were most of the episode. And now this next episode, you notice they're not there. It's, they're just such good television. So yeah, agreed. This is such a bummer to lose them. Let's go through our pit stop rankings here. Jazz and Anurag are Super Sikhs. They come in first. Dwez and Catherine are Kimberly Cousins with a second place finish. I mean, this is amazing for them. Such a step up for them. MJ and Chelsea, our Stowaway team, footy mates, they come in third because they're that good. Fourth is Chris and Alicia, Geek and Princess. Fifth is our Cowboys, Brendan and Jackson. Sixth is Ashley and Amanda, Gold Coast Girls, kind of in the middle, not super great for them. Seventh is Sky Blue and Jake, the siblings. Eighth is Holly and Delore. Ninth is our dancers, Jordan and Valletta. And 10th, Sepha and Jess.
And I love that Sepha's in the chat. Hey, Sepha.
Sepha! We're just going on and on about how much we love you guys, and we miss you.
This is like an interesting point to like what I was saying at the beginning of the recap was, the footy mates, they got third on this leg. But let's say there was something extra at stake here where Bo said you have to get first on this leg or you will get a penalty. Let's say they check in third and then Bo's like, you didn't get first, so here's a 30-minute penalty. Think about how the placements would have changed. Maybe they would have been so drastic where now the footy mates are at the very bottom. You never know. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more of an edge to like the Stowaway twist.
Yeah, I hear ya. But honestly, whether we had this new Stowaway team or not, odds are we were going to have an eliminated team.
100%.
This
100%.
episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the schedule that they have shown us for the first couple weeks. So we assumed this was going to be an elimination leg, whether they add people or not. So just a freaking bummer because honestly, I guess it was because Sepha and Jess were a little turned around in the beginning of the leg.
Well, also think about how
back.
I mean, this might be like a dramatic word to use, but like how traumatic it was to face your fear so frequently in the same day. Like not only are you touching a crocodile and like moving it, and then now you're getting in the water with it. Like it's just, to me, it's so emotionally taxing and it can definitely take a toll on you.
Absolutely. And it would have been amazing television if you like conquered all your fears and then you survived the leg. That would have been great. But she did all of that work. She didn't survive the leg. That was real hard to watch.
Fear, whether it was actually conquered to the point where she's going to go swimming with crocodiles.
Well, no.
No
one should.
That's what you love about the race is people who are put in these like really insane situations and having to face their fear and push through. And she did. Yeah. I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah. Yes. Love Sepha and Jess. Okay. Moving on to episode 8. We start out with a traditional welcome, which I'm loving when we get these.
Yes. Especially with Jasmine and Jerome, which were one of our favorite teams from last season. Like,
yeah. Sepha, Jess is a champ. That's right. 100%. We have a detour right here up top of this episode, this leg. Stomp or chomp. We get to dance in a lion costume or eat a whole fish. So
gross.
I'm kind of surprised only one team went to eat the whole fish. I mean, yes, gross, but I was kind of surprised.
I mean, yeah, you'd think that there would have been a little bit more balance with the teams choosing both, but the idea of eating a full fish, and then granted, I don't know if it was in the clue, like how big the fish is going to be, and then again, you can only eat it with the chopsticks. Like it adds an extra layer to it, and then you think about all the bones that are in the fish. Like, I don't know if I could. Like, I would rather take a shot at doing the lion dance than eat something that could potentially upset my stomach and maybe put me out for the rest of the leg.
Yeah.
Eating tasks can always be hit or miss.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm never doing an eating task. Like, no, thank you. I'm not eating eyeballs or a tail or whatever it is that you think that I should eat. But a dancing task for me isn't going to be that hard. Some of these people, struggle at dancing. I was actually surprised that the Gold Coast girls were like, yeah, let's go do a dance when we saw them struggle with a dance before.
That's so true.
But it turns out it wasn't too bad for them. So our first 3 teams here get right into the stomp, the dancing in the lion costume. And for the most part, people are figuring it out. The Sikhs, it takes them 7 tries, though, to realize that they were just not grabbing the lettuce correctly.
Yep.
Oh,
like huge. I mean, like essentially that was a huge mistake because it put them way towards the back of the rest of the pack. So, but again, when it comes to those demonstrations, you just got to pay attention to every little detail in that demonstration.
right.
That one detail of grabbing through the mouth rather than under, but also like, does the lion eat from under its chin? Like, I don't know.
No.
Like, I feel like
never.
No, I don't know.
Why would you think like reaching out of a costume is the way to go?
But I think maybe because of the way you're holding the mouth from the inside, it looks like there's a little bar. I think it maybe feels more natural to just like reach underneath because it's more of a direct path. But reaching through seems maybe a little bit more unnatural. So like out the window, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. We see this though on the race. It's like a detail. You just have to pay attention to those details. And the Sikhs are so great at, powering through. Okay, let's just get back to it. Let's watch it again. Let's try to figure out what we're doing. And the poor guys it took them way too long. But the hilarious part of this, I mean, kind of hilarious, is that the Kimberly cousins, who just did such an amazing leg,
yes,
they have a complete breakdown. They are arguing and they are not even talking now. They're in 2 separate places and they are 100% not doing the task at hand.
Even though it's hard to see teams like go through these moments on the race. Right? I think that is something I love about the race is those interpersonal relationships. Like not everyone's a perfect team. Like not everyone can be Haley and Kaylin where everything is so positive. How hard or anytime you face adversity, like there needs to be that dynamic in team relationships. And I feel like this moment with Dwez and Catherine is like brought me back to like older seasons of the race where you got to see those dynamics. And I enjoyed it from an entertainment standpoint because you're like, what's going to happen? Are they going to be able to recover from this? Or are they going to be that stubborn where they're not going to be able to pull through and continue?
It's fascinating because on a human level, like you get it when you're like, I can't even talk to you right now. Like, are you listening to me? I don't like the way you talk to me. Like, I understand those feelings. And, ultimately, like Dwez couldn't even concentrate because of the way he, heard something. But the other part is, oh my God, you guys are competing for a decent chunk of change. Like, let's just talk about this later, baby.
Right. Like already we're eliminated. So you know what it feels like. Why not just suck it up and get it over it and then maybe figure it out back at the hotel room when you're sequestered after the leg. But I mean, from a viewer standpoint, thank you. Like, thank you for giving us a little bit of entertainment to be like, what's going to happen with them? Like, are they going to completely call it quits or are they going to pull it together?
That's true. Like the order got changed because they're just sitting there. And the Sikhs took a moment to like talk to them. It's, really comes down to the 2 of them are last there and the Sikhs finally get it. So they're leaving and they see Dwez just sort of chilling on the curb there. And so they try to do like a get your butt up. Let's go. You can do this. Let's have a hug. They did their best to sort of support. And I think it worked. It kind of brought them together to be like, all right, let's just do this and let's move on. And then, of course, they end up getting it, which is really just their second attempt. They get it. They just wasted a bunch of time there.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
Okay. This is a roadblock where I go, oh my God, this roadblock is horrible and terrifying. And how do you get people to do this?
Especially when you hear the name Humpty Doo. Like, you're like, what am I getting myself into?
What? Okay, first off, what am I getting myself into with that? Yeah. This straight terrified me.
I already went to the Barramundi thing because you hate water, but I forgot this other thing also had water.
Yes. No.
This is not your leg.
No. Oh my God. If I accidentally, I think it was pretty clear. It was like sink, right? Something in the clue that they were like, this is going to be underwater. So I think most people did the best that they could with picking who's going to do this, but there's no way I could have done this. And I sympathized for the people who did freak out. Like Alicia shows up first. Okay, so this is the one, you guys, where we simulated a crash, a plane crashing into the ocean. So you're buckled into a plane seat, you're lowered down into the water, you're blindfolded. What? Why you gotta be blindfolded? Then you're flipped upside down. You have to unbuckle yourself under the water and find the window and escape. I mean, this is intense, you guys.
This is okay.
Woo.
Everything you're saying is exactly what I said to Will. I was like, why are they blindfolded?
Why?
What purpose does that serve? Why are they upside down? Like, there were so many things about this that made me so uncomfortable.
Yes.
But again, it goes back to mind over matter, but it would just feel so unnatural
So
to be upside down in water, especially stationary upside down. Like you're buckled in.
Buckled.
And blindfolded. So it's completely disorienting. It would have been weird. A weird sensation.
Mind over matter sounds good, but when you are holding your breath, disoriented and underwater and locked in, like, don't lock me into things. That right there, I'm terrified that I can't move my body. Oh, anyway, Alicia shows up first and I felt her. She's doing what you do. You got to get through this race. You got to just make yourself do it. But she like pops up and is like sobbing. She's like,
I can't believe I did that.
Yeah. I was like, girl, same. I would have been the same. But then when the Cowboys get there, Jackson, okay, so Brendan is 100% not a swimmer. He's not into water. But Jackson is the one who had a freak out in the other, like the deep water thing.
The scuba thing. Like
the scuba. Yeah. He had the freak out. Excuse me. It's like I'm underwater. So I was like, wait, when Jackson is the one doing it, I was like, oh no, how is he going to get through this?
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to like the idea of being upside down in water. It's almost like he was struggling to even unbuckle. Like he almost forgot like how to undo the strap. And so much so that it had to come in and someone had to help him get out of the whole simulator. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. It's a little too much, Chris. It's a little too much.
It's a little too real.
Yeah.
It's a little too real to feel. I don't ever want to know what that feels like.
Yeah. I mean, I think all the rest of it is enough.
Like, why does it have to be nighttime?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be nighttime? That was a choice.
It was a choice.
That was a creative choice.
Look, my plane crashed during the day, you guys. Okay. So I don't need to be blindfolded. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Like in my brain, this crashed during the day. I don't need the blindfolds.
Yeah, so Jackson gets rescued, and oh my God, this is another time I'm just like held my breath so much during this whole challenge, this whole episode. But he is willing to try it again, and thankfully he does. He gets it on the second attempt, so ultimately it's fine. But then Catherine, I related to Catherine as well, because when you watch them lower down, and I'm going with them, like right before they hit the water, and I just thought you could easily mistime that because you're blindfolded. And that's exactly what she does. Yeah. She gulps in water and she's immediately like, get me out. And do they get her out immediately? No, they do not. The safety guy to the side is like, wait, does she really need me?
Very casual. Like, yeah, it was like, I'm going to wait a beat. I'm going to wait a beat before I rescue. Okay, yep. Time to step in.
Yeah. Thank you. She's drowning. Please get her. So not surprised that by the time she comes up, she's like, I'm not doing that again. She's like, I saw the light. I almost headed down a tunnel and I chose not to, but let's not do that again.
Or you didn't see a light because you were blindfolded. And all you saw was a dark pit of doom.
Woo! Traumatizing. Okay. Let's move on. Let's get out of the ocean and let's just go to a little pile of water and let's catch this. This is the Barramundi farm where we're going to catch some fish, which does not look easy, but at least your head's not submerged underwater.
Humpty Doo. I laughed so hard at the idea of a place being called Humpty Doo. I need a
Especially-
shirt. I need a bumper sticker
you
that's
do.
send a Humpty Doo.
Yes. Aussies in the chat, if anyone's in that area, please
Maybe a magnet.
send.
My
Yeah.
magnet collection. Oh my God.
Especially when you hear them seriously like looking at maps and they're like, do you see a sign for Humpty Doo? Like they're not laughing along like we are. Okay, Chris and Alicia are killing it still. They are arriving first. This is not easy though, trying to catch this fish. Real hilarious to watch though. I quite enjoy people trying to catch slippery, prickly, jumpy guys.
The idea of, I mean, if Chris is still in the chat, maybe he can confirm this, but the idea of being in the water, it felt like, or from what people were saying in the episode, were there just that many barramundi just swimming in that space that you would feel them constantly while you're in that area? Like, I don't want to be in the water and feel like the scales of the fish constantly brushing up against me.
Well, it's a farm, so they're raising them to sell to restaurants and eat them. So I don't think your normal lake or water.
No, but just like
gonna do that
of like feeling it on my
skin. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, James, this is why I don't go in the ocean.
No, I don't want to know. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, I don't want anything touching me. I don't want a stingray touching me. I don't want a fish touching me. I don't want an eel touching me. I don't want a crab. None of it. No, thank you.
Gosh, Ellen, that's hilarious. Yes.
Okay, so this turns out to be one of those. This is like such an interesting dynamic about the Cowboys. They can get a lot of things in one try, one attempt, and then sit at another challenge forever while teams pass them. And that's what we get here. They can't quite catch this fish. Chris and Alicia have gotten it. The footies actually get out first. And the Cowboys are just going to keep hanging out there. Wes
kind of goes back to like the Weetabix situation where they were like the first ones there like early in the pack and then just fall to the wayside.
Chris is saying couldn't feel them constantly, but super strong. Yeah, they seemed like they just knock you out. So icky to feel. Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Exactly. Dwez just walked in to the water, grabbed a fish, walked out. No big deal for him.
He does that in his sleep.
So eventually at Cowboys, they do get a fish. And we also kind of see that the siblings have gotten lost. Sky Blue and Jake are a bit driving around confused.
Mm-hmm.
And so they show up and get the fish around the same time as the Sikhs. This is sort of the rear of the pack here. So, pit stop. Our footy mates coming in first. Didn't take them long to get to the very, very top. They're that good. MJ and Chelsea. Chris and Alicia right behind them, though. Our Geek and Princess, second place. Ashley and Amanda, Gold Coast girls, they moved up a little bit this leg to third. Holly and Delore come in fourth, and I think this is a high for them. I don't think they've come in that well leading up to this leg. Jordan and Valletta, our dancers, are fifth. Cowboys eventually get to the pit stop in sixth place, Brennan and Jackson. Then Sky Blue and Jake are siblings. Jazz and Anurag, the Sikhs, are in eighth place. And ends up with our Kimberly cousins coming in ninth. They actually arrived around the sixth place. But because Catherine wasn't able to do that traumatic, horrific underwater challenge, they got a 30-minute penalty. We did hear them say this time, James, like, we don't know how long the penalty is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got that information in the chat last week, but it was good to hear them say it in the show. But it did turn out to just be another 30-minute penalty. Like, those really aren't that bad.
And I agree with what I think Maddie in the chat was saying. Quitting the roadblock deserved more than a 30-minute penalty. I agree. I think that should have been a little bit more. But also, like, if every leg is going to be somewhat of an equalizer, the time of when teams leave the pit start don't really matter. So, I mean, they ended up paying the ultimate price. They were the last team. They were the last to ultimately check in. So,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, in America, they're like 4 hours long, the penalties. They're like significant. But it feels like Australia keeps things real snappy. They're like, look, you're going to be last. It's just going to be 30 minutes. You're going to be last on the mat. No big deal. And they do. They come in last here. So our Stowaway team, because they came in first for this non-elimination leg, they get the first class pass. And they have to pick a sabotage and a salvage. And James,
thank God,
for the first
strategy.
time, thank you.
Thank God.
It's probably because they are new. They don't know much.
They don't know the dynamics. They just know that the Super Seeks are threats.
That they knew that they at least had one leg.
Yep.
So they did what we were hoping would happen.
I know. I appreciated it. It was the smart strategic move. And who would have thought it would have been a Stowaway team to shake it up a bit?
Yeah. Well, maybe now we'll give points to the Stowaway team, maybe.
To the team, yes. Not necessarily the twist.
To the twist. Gotcha.
I'm separating the two. Twist and the team, two very separate things.
That's important. You should do that for sure. They explained to us their strategy, and they end up giving the cousins the salvage and the sabotage to the Sikhs. And I wrote in all caps, "Thank you" in my notes for that. So episode 9, we head to Alice Springs, and this is when we learn what the salvage and the sabotage is going to be. And of course, in true Aussie fashion, it's going to be completely random and nothing close to the word fair whatsoever. The salvage given to the Kimberly cousins is a private car and driver. Oh, hello.
I mean, that's a pretty good advantage.
That's quite the perk. Yeah.
Especially when I saw Dwez holding this, like, it looked like a rolled up cool towel. And I was like, hell yeah, you just get pampered. Just enjoy your private.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Tesla.
Ride. Yeah. Unreal. I enjoyed this advantage. This salvage.
For sure. Yeah, it was great. It was bound to be helpful. And then the sabotage, I didn't think was that horrible. They're going to carry around stuffed kangaroos.
It was the most ridiculous thing ever. I would love to know who thought that carrying around a stuffed kangaroo was a sabotage. Literally, it's like we start off strong with a sabotage of you can't speak to your teammate for an entire leg, and it's like it's getting
seriously
outrageous. Like we should have known it was going to be a little outrageous after Jordan and Violetta had to wear scuba gear for a leg.
Yeah, I mean, if we were like, let's do goofy things, great. Scuba gear and kangaroo, those feel like they're on that sort of level of just weird, goofy things that are kind of a nuisance, but not going to really change the game.
No, I still think that if you have the sabotage, it should just be this universal, like every team knows what it's going to be. Maybe it should have just been through the entire season. You can't speak to your teammate. Like that was just a universal sabotage that everyone knew. Or keeping in the theme of what the race is, you decide who has to do a speed bump. You decide who's going to have to stop their race to do an extra task.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's straightforward, and that in itself is a sabotage. But to carry around a kangaroo, I mean, I like what Sebastian's saying in the chat, a disguise as a kangaroo mom. Like, what if they had to dress up in a kangaroo outfit? That to me would have felt more like a sabotage in a full-on kangaroo outfit.
That would get in the way for sure. And that would be a little bit more in the lines of your partner not being able to talk to you. Like the moms had it so hard and then were eliminated. Like that was game changing. This is not. Although I do love that they named the two roos Saba and Taj.
Yes.
That was very cute. So I'll take that. But in no way was this going to affect their race at all. I mean, I was kind of hoping when they were like, because we always have to have it. And I was like, okay, maybe there's going to be a task that's really hard to do with one arm. But no, they just like belted it onto them.
I was going to say, and it felt inconsistent because at first I feel like there was that soundbite of them talking about we have to hold on to with one hand at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were a few shots of them where the kangaroo was just like extra baggage attached to
Yeah.
their waist, not even when they're carrying their backpacks.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, not a sabotage in my book. It's like you're carrying around a souvenir.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, we're in agreement, everybody. So we gotta get to this first little sign up board here, and it kind of feels like we might have our first little rivalry. Because Chris and Amanda run up to that board at the same time. Chris signs his name first, and Amanda's not too happy about it. She felt like she was there first.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, that whole edit and that transition thing was just so weird to me because I was like, I don't get it. Like, what am I looking for? I never really physically saw. Maybe I need to go back and watch it, but it didn't look as though Chris did that.
Well, I don't think the camera was like zoomed in on their hands because the
totally,
camera was
but it
running behind
weird.
them.
It
Yeah.
felt very weird to me, that whole thing, and almost like another forced, like, let's cause drama between these two teams where there might not even be drama in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm going to race up and I'm going to grab the pin. I'm not going to just stand back and try to be second. So, and I might be annoyed that someone grabbed the pin with me, but I'm not going to hold it against anyone because we're in a race.
Yeah.
So
And you're the top two spots. Like,
yeah.
You're still in the front, whether you're first or second. So
right.
Yeah, I don't think holding on to it long term would be smart.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like flight 1, flight 2, and you like got bumped to flight 2, maybe get a little angry, but
yes.
This doesn't seem.
Gate.
Yeah. We got some major pen gate happening. But it does, at least for the edit, they make it seem like it's a rivalry. Whether it is or not, we don't really know. But seems like it might be. And then Sikhs are the last ones to sign up here. But this actually turns into such an interesting roadblock. It's not what it starts to be. But I have to ask my Aussies, what the heck is a gas bag? Because Violetta was able to determine that this had something to do with a hot air balloon, but that is not a term that we are familiar with. So, but it was enough to clue them in that it had something to do. Oh, it's literally a hot air balloon. Okay. That's what we call a hot air balloon, a gas bag.
How interesting. Yeah. A bag for holding gas.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm fresh out of bags holding gas, but it does kind of sound like either a gassy person or a talkative person. Yeah. Fart joke sounds more along the lines of what I was thinking it was. But apparently they knew it was a hot air balloon. And guess what, you guys? Violetta's dad is a hot air balloon pilot. Did y'all even know that was a job?
No, but I thought that was like a really cool like story moment to like learn that. Like it was just
yes.
like, how interesting. Like I like when you see like life experiences being pulled into the race to like get a team excited or to help a team out in a specific challenge. Like I like those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. This was super fun. I don't know if the producers had that in mind, but it definitely made this a bit more fun to watch. First off, she's so excited, and it's great to see her excited because she gets really stressed and worried about a lot of stuff. So the fact that she was excited to do this roadblock and to be in a hot air balloon was really, really fun to watch. But we end up with 2 balloons going up. So we have our like first crew with the Gold Coast girls, Chris and Alicia, the siblings, and the couple, Holly and Delore. And then our balloon 2 has the cowboys, the dancers, the Sikhs, and the cousins. And we're up, and it's like this beautiful segment. The racers are like, this is one of the most amazing parts of this entire race. I love it. And then boom, Walkie's like, prepare for a crash landing. We're probably going to tip. And then they all go crashing down.
And to think that they did training in the leg prior, underwater, blindfolded. This was the opposite. This was not a water landing. This was a land landing. We crashed into the land.
They did, and they apparently tipping over in a basket. No bigs. Violetta's like, it's cool, guys. Don't worry about it.
The best part. It's the most fun.
So this is what we're now being told is called a forced intersection, where they no longer can do their roadblock, but they have to work as teams to fold up this massive balloon, which is hilarious. And would you have ever figured out how to do it correctly without Valletta there? No.
No, you would just think to like fold it like a sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you see like the other group doing that, but she's like, no, guys, here we go. Push the air out. Let's go. And she just snaps into action. Everyone's more than grateful to follow what she's saying, and they're doing it. The other team is like, we'll just watch them and follow behind them. And so ultimately, she's on the second group. So she leads her little second group there to be the first group. They get that balloon into that basket, and off they go with a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought this was actually like very creatively thought up. Like, I thought it was really interesting that this became a forced intersection. I liked how I felt like it was pretty creative for a last minute change. And a fair challenge to just come up with on the spot. Like, I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wondered. I mean, I know some producers on the American Amazing Race, and they have to have backups for all of this stuff. But I've always wondered, like, is it literally a backup for every single task, or is it just like one backup per leg? So, but they were very prepared, and it turned out to be just fine. The two groups get back, and there is a little bit of a difficulty here for some of them to get taxis. And so we see the numbers sort of mixing up here with which teams are getting out first. But the next thing we're going to move on to is this route info that is called Henley on Todd Regatta, which is hilarious. I love a boat regatta on desert land, basically.
And all of the pirates and those obstacles were hilarious.
Yes, so much fun being shot at with water, quite enjoyable. And apparently these boats were super, super heavy. We saw plenty of people complaining about how heavy it was. And although Dwez has like arms of like my pinky, he still carried the boat and got through it. The cousins are in and out first. But Alicia, who also has arms like my pinky, had a much harder time here. She's struggling physically, and then we see like last thing, she's in the car, she's getting sick, she has to throw up.
Especially taking on the heat and already having to do a physical task of the hot air balloon and having to part it, fold it, move it, whatever. It's like two very physically demanding tasks back to back, and still in the outback heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we on the third episode? Oh yeah, we've been here an hour. Oh my God, James, I just
There's so much content to cover.
But for some reason I saw the end of my notes and thought like I missed an entire another episode. Like I feel like we're on episode 2. That's so sorry guys for that little hiccup, but I really got confused there. Yeah, poor Alicia does not look good here, but it seems like it's super hot and super demanding. And thankfully, after she throws it up, she's back in it. She's feeling better. Yeah. Our next detour is build or bathe. And we are going to build some skate park construction, or we're going to bathe a camel. James, what are you and Will doing?
We would have done construction. I think anytime an animal is involved for a specific challenge, you're kind of at the beck and call of the animal. Like, is the animal going to cooperate? Is the animal going to actually like do what you need it to? I mean, sure, you're bathing the camel, but a lot of times like the camel would move, or like you'd see the hook get picked up and you would have to back away because you're not really sure what it's going to do. There's just a lot out of your control, where building something with instructions is so straightforward. And I think we would have built. I mean, Will loves Legos, so building things is like a thing for him.
It's hard to resist any activity with an animal. I would just be like, but I want to bathe the camel. Like, I want to just be like, hi, camel, what are you doing? Yep. And so, yeah, I don't know. And also, like, the cousins show up to build at the skate park first, and I'm thinking, like I said, Dwez's arms are like this. I mean, I think, why not go do the camel? But they are maybe along the same lines of what you're thinking. Like, let's just build this, follow the instructions and get it built. The cousins and the Sikhs are the first to arrive, and they seemingly pick the most difficult thing to build. It's like a ramp.
Which is interesting because I feel like if you don't know much about skate parks, like I sure as heck don't, like how do you know what piece of a skate park is going to be less challenging and know what to pick?
Yeah.
It was like one of those things that Will and I got into a conversation about it. I was like, I don't know if I like this because not every team has to do the same piece. So there could be pros to doing something over the other. So it's not really an even playing field. But then on the flip side, I do kind of like it because now it's kind of a crapshoot as to who's really going to excel, and it can change the placements up pretty significantly.
Yeah, but I think that's a benefit. Like, make them a little bit different. And why the heck do the first teams not run around and look at all of them and pick the one that looks the easiest?
Right. And I don't know, maybe were you under the impression, like maybe they weren't, it probably was in the additional info, but like were you under the impression that all of them were going to be the same piece to build?
It sounded like it said pick. Well, the way it was read to me, or the way that it was read to me, that doesn't make sense. But the way that I heard it was that it sounded like they were all a little bit different. It made me think to look at them. But we don't see that until the Gold Coast girls arrive third, and they're like, the flat board. Hello. That's the easy one to do. And I was like,
a little bit more low maintenance and easier to figure out.
Then Chris and Alicia are on their tail, so they are right there, and they pick the same flat one, which, again, yes, obviously, do that. Over on the camel bathing thing, we've got the dancers, we've got the cowboys, we've got the siblings, and Violetta, she's scared and she's worried, and I was very proud of her for conquering those fears and touching that camel and getting up there.
Not only touching the camel, but feeding it with your mouth.
No, yes.
I hope that's a gift somewhere because I could not stop laughing. Like that was just so funny to me. Like the face she made, and then she would back up and the carrot would drop. It was just such a funny moment.
It was. You took 5 minutes to pick it. So yeah. Why would you pick the ramp? I mean, you didn't, but like, why would anyone pick the ramp? Maybe it was deceiving. Maybe you just don't know which one could be easier. I don't know. Oh my God. Did James freeze or did I freeze? James, are you there? It's a very good look for me, what I'm seeing from James. I don't know what it looks like for everyone else, but you look very cool, very suave. Okay, chat is saying that James is frozen. All right, I'm going to continue while James looks very suave in this pose that he's got going for us here. We're going to get another fun Delore edit where he made Holly agree with him that they're going to do the construction. Oh, I think James is popping in. Oh, hello there, sir.
Am I back? Am I here? Hi.
We were talking about how cute your freeze face was. You were like, it was very suave. Can you hear me? Are you good?
Oh my gosh. What happened?
No, I can hear you. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Hi.
Okay, good. Okay, now you can hear me. Yes. I mean, you're a little glitchy, but I can see you. No, I lied. Now you're not fine. Oh boy. Well, I'm going to talk about Delore's edit because, again, this is very typical Holly and Delore. He's like, we have to agree together. She says, yeah, okay, let's do the building, the construction. I would have probably preferred the camel, but let's do the building, the construction skate park. And then once he gets there, he's like, I can't do this. This is too hard. Meanwhile, she's nailing away, doing all the work in true Holly fashion. And, we get this edit. We also see the Gold Girls get out. We see Chris and Alicia get out and leave. Then we see the Sikhs and the cousins get out, and we are left with Holly and Delore as our last team there building at the construction. So I'll go through the pit stop thing, but hopefully James will join us again. Oh, Will, stop streaming. Come on. Let's all blame it on Will, just like we blame it on my husband whenever mine gets glitchy. Holly working for that ring, y'all. Okay, let's go through the pit stop while we hope that James joins us. It is first place, Ashley and Amanda, Gold Coast girls, coming in first because they were so smart to choose the easy construction. James, you're back.
I'm back. Plot twist. Oh my God, I got U-turned. I had to go do something.
Oh, okay. You got a speed bump you had to take care of? Okay.
I got sabotaged by the first place team.
Chat was yelling at Will to get off the internet.
He's not even here.
We can't even blame Will. All right, well, looks all good here. We are going through the pit stop. We've made it with the Gold Coast girls arriving first. And this is when we realize it's a continue to race. We're not really stopping.
Keep on racing. Psych.
Gonna jump on a train, which I love a train. That's very exciting. So Chris and Alicia, our princess and geek, coming in second. Jordan and Violetta coming in third. Our dancers, that's pretty good for them. Third place finish. Sky Blue and Jake, siblings, coming in fourth. Cowboys, fifth. Brennan and Jackson. Our Kimberly cousins, they made it. They beat the Sikhs, coming in sixth place. Seventh, Super Sikhs, Jazz and Anurag. And then this is when we see Holly and Delore very defeated. They were not happy building their skate park piece and left there to finish it. Holly did it all by herself, basically. And they walk up very slowly, pretty sure that they're going to go because they're the last place. And why do we have a random non-elimination at this point, James?
Well, it is a keep on racing. So it kind of made me think of like the first leg of our season. Nathan and Cody still got eliminated despite it being keep on racing. Yeah. But I actually saw an interesting point of view from a viewer, I think it might have been on Reddit, that was like, I hate that you kind of know when it's a non-elimination because of the fact that like the first place team has to sit by the pit stop and then like they wait, like it would be a little bit more suspenseful. So it was kind of a crapshoot actually because Holly and Delore didn't have the first place team waiting there. And even though it was a keep on racing leg, there could have been a possibility that they would have been eliminated.
I assume they're going to get eliminated. I'm used to the format that you get eliminated unless it is a non-elimination that we know from the first place team standing there and waiting. So the fact that they showed up and it was another non-elimination, basically we got two back-to-back here, threw me for a loop. But like I've already said probably 5 times in this stream alone, the Australian version is showing me that they are going to do things randomly and mix it up and keep me on my toes.
Yes.
This whole season.
Yes. Oh, and I'm excited for the next episode.
Yes, I'm excited. It looks like they're getting in a train and maybe have like a sort of escape room style.
I know the way that they ended the episode with that tease. I was like, I'm all here for that. I love it.
Yeah, it seems very, very fun. And of course, a bunch of other stuff coming up next week that we get to see. So I don't know, controversial week, but
yeah,
pretty good episodes still. I'm very much enjoying this season.
It's just different. And I think that like you have to have an open mind while watching it. Like it's totally untraditional, Amazing Race. Like they're going to do whatever they can to spice it up, to keep these racers on their toes, to make it interesting, especially because, you know, like I feel like because we're in a pandemic and why not just spice it up a bit? Like, why not? And it's giving viewers something to talk about, which for any show, that's good.
We have another Stowaway team. It looks like the Bodybuilders.
They are very huge.
They're huge. And I hope that they're as funny as the edit makes it seem because.
And they seem like really nice guys. They do. I mean, like, when I commented on it was their picture on the Amazing Race Australia's Instagram. when I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this twist. Like, it defeats the purpose of the race. Like he commented and was like, I don't disagree with you, but like we didn't know we were still a stowaway team.
Right.
And he was just really kind. And we had like a little conversation back and forth. So again, nothing against the teams ever.
Exactly.
It's a twist. It's an interesting twist.
Everyone should remember that the producers are doing this. The teams have no idea what's going on. I imagine all of these stowaways were quarantined and went through the audition process and just thought they were being cast on Amazing Race. Then they might even have been disappointed when the producers were like, you're not going to come in until leg 9, 10, 11, whatever.
Right.
I would be if I were cast on the show and then didn't get to start in the beginning. I'd be bummed. So yeah, not the team's fault. Can't hold it against them unless you're an actual racer. Then you can U-turn them and do whatever you want because you're in the race. That's fine.
Yep.
Haha. Yes. Remember, the producers are the sneaky and shady ones. Yeah. And that Aussies are good people. They really do seem like it.
Yes.
I enjoy y'all. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for these marathon epic recaps that we're doing for a full week of Amazing Race Australia. We appreciate having some cast members giving us some tea. We appreciate you guys giving us some Aussie lingo. We appreciate it all.
Yes, we're learning so much with the slang. I love it.
Right. And for those of you guys who are joining us later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the stowaway twist, how you're feeling about the teams. Well, not even the teams that we lost. We only lost one team, and it was so devastating.
Yep. And on Valentine's Day, no less.
Rude. So rude. But let us know how you're feeling about that. And we'll be back next Thursday with next week's recap. We'll see you then. Bye.